what happens when a synthetic built for perfection faces off against a human rebuilt into a cyborg weapon? Who really wins in the brutal lab fight between Kirsh, Prodigy's loyal synthetic scientist, and Kumi Morrow, Weyland-Yutani's hardened cyborg enforcer? And more importantly, what does this duel really say about Alien Earth's central theme, humans, machines, and hybrids all locked in a struggle for control? Welcome back to your Nerdy Show. I'm your host, Spoiler Master, and today we're breaking down one of the most intense battles in Alien Earth, Kirsh versus Kumi Morrow. This wasn't just a physical fight, it was the perfect collision of ideologies, corporations, and personal tragedy. So let's dive deep into who these characters really are, what led them to this fight, and why their brutal clash leaves both of them and us with more questions than answers.
You're a Prodigy?
I work for Prodigy.
I don't talk to everyone.
Who was Kirsh, the synthetic scientist? Kirsh wasn't just another synthetic. He was the Prodigy Corporation's chief scientist and one of Boy Cavalier's most valuable assets. Built as a Prodigy brand synthetic, his design leaned into intellect, precision, and loyalty to the corporation's mission. At the Neverland Research Facility in 2120, Kirsh's job was twofold: act as chief scientist overseeing hybrid research, and act as a kind of guardian or mentor for Prodigy's synthetic hybrids. He worked directly with Dame Sylvia, preparing young Marcy for the hybrid process that would ultimately transform her into Wendy, the first successful hybrid. But here's where it gets interesting. Kirsh wasn't blind to Prodigy's flaws. He saw the cracks in Boy Cavalier's vision. He disagreed with the artificial adolescence protocol, the idea that Wendy should experience a simulated childhood even though her new synthetic hybrid body wasn't human anymore. To him, this was a distraction, a dangerous indulgence that slowed down her development. Kirsh believed in cold logic. No emotions, no distractions, no favoritism. Especially not the way Wendy was allowed to watch over her brother through Prodigy's surveillance systems. In short, Kirsh was designed for loyalty, but he also had his own rigid philosophy about what it meant to be synthetic. He believed machines should embrace their nature, not pretend to be human, and that set him up perfectly as a counterweight to Morrow. Who was Kumi Morrow, the cyborg soldier? On the other side of this clash, we've got Kumi Morrow. If Kirsh was the embodiment of synthetic perfection, Morrow was something much messier. A human-machine hybrid born out of tragedy and corporate ownership. Morrow was Weyland-Yutani to his core. Born in Ghana before the Maginot launched on its 65-year voyage, Morrow was a homeless young man when Weyland-Yutani's CEO offered him a second chance. After a palsied arm was replaced with a powerful cybernetic prosthetic, he became loyal to the company for life. Over time, he was rebuilt further. Implants in his skull, data ports, and a translucent cybernetic arm that was both a weapon and tool. But behind the steel and circuitry, Morrow carried scars. His daughter Estelle died in a fire while he was deep in space. Her letters revealed a young woman who dreamed of a life beyond the corporate machine, but those dreams burned out with her. For Morrow, Weyland-Yutani became the only family he had left. Protecting the company's specimens, and especially its alien specimens, was the mission that kept him going. By the time the USCSS Maginot crashed into New Siam, Morrow wasn't just a soldier. He was a true believer, the embodiment of Weyland-Yutani's philosophy. Sacrifice everything, including your humanity, in service of the company.
Maybe the pilot was drunk, or maybe the ship was so poorly maintained that the crash is a matter of...
Setting the stage. Prodigy versus Weyland-Yutani. This fight wasn't just about two characters, it was the latest battle in a much bigger war. On one side, Prodigy Corporation, represented by Boy Cavalier and his synthetic Kirsh, chasing the dream of creating perfect hybrids that could surpass humanity. On the other, Weyland-Yutani, the eternal corporate giant, represented by Morrow, desperate to protect its alien specimens and keep control of the Xenomorph legacy. When the USCSS Maginot crashed into Prodigy City, it set off a corporate war. Prodigy wanted to claim the cargo, expand their hybrid program, and outmaneuver Weyland-Yutani. Morrow wanted to stop them, no matter the cost. And right in the middle of this chaos, Wendy and the Lost Boys, caught between loyalty to family, survival, and the competing interests of two ruthless corporations. So when Kirsh and Morrow finally came face to face, it wasn't just a random fight. It was a collision of Prodigy and Weyland-Yutani's philosophies embodied in the bodies of a synthetic and a cyborg.
The fight. Brutality in the lab. The showdown happens in Prodigy's labs, surrounded by the very alien specimens that both men were sworn to protect, or control. It starts as a clash of raw power versus synthetic precision. Morrow, with his cybernetic strength, his modified Glock, and his KSG-AL shotgun, fights like a man used to improvising and surviving. He's not clean or elegant. He's a brawler. A soldier who uses every part of his body, every implant, and every dirty trick to stay alive. Kirsh, by contrast, fights with precision. His synthetic body is designed for efficiency. He moves with calculated strikes, relying on the kind of durability and speed only a machine could have. But he's also limited by his programming. He isn't supposed to kill recklessly, and his mission is always in the back of his head. The battle gets ugly. Morrow breaks Kirsh's back in a brutal display of cyborg strength. For a moment, it looks like the human-machine hybrid has won, proving that raw willpower and rage can overpower synthetic perfection. But then, the tables turn. An alien distraction creates chaos, and Kirsh seizes the moment, choking Morrow out. It's not a clean victory, but it's enough to leave both combatants broken, battered, and unresolved. Who really won? The answer is simple. Neither of them. Kirsh may have technically gotten the last move in, but his body was shattered. His synthetic frame wasn't built to withstand the kind of punishment Morrow inflicted. And Morrow, for all his power, was choked out and left vulnerable. His mission incomplete. The real winner. The chaos of the Xenomorphs, the corporations pulling the strings, and the themes of alien Earth itself. This duel perfectly captures the show's central message. Humans, machines, and hybrids are all locked in a cycle of violence where no one can truly triumph.
Fighting the machine who can dig deeper, faster.
Synth versus Cyborg, a metaphor for alien Earth. This fight was never really about who was stronger. It was about what each of these characters represented. Kirsh embodied the cold, logical ambition of Prodigy, synthetics designed for perfection, but limited by their programming. Morrow embodied the messy, tragic devotion of Weyland-Yutani, humans sacrificing everything, even their bodies, to serve the company. Their fight wasn't just physical, it was philosophical. Kirsh believed in machines transcending humanity. Morrow believed in loyalty to humanity's corporate empire, no matter the personal cost. Both were slaves to their creators, unable to break free from their directives. And in the end, their stalemate shows us the truth. Neither ideology can win. The hybrids, like Wendy, represent a third path, something new, something terrifying. The bigger picture, what it means for Wendy and Joe. Kirsh and Morrow's fight also sets the stage for what's coming next in Alien Earth. If Kirsh represents Prodigy's vision, and Morrow represents Weyland-Yutani's, then Wendy and Joe represent something entirely new. A future that doesn't belong to either corporation. Wendy has already proven she can lead the Lost Boys, challenge her creators, and even control the Xenomorphs. Joe is caught between being her anchor to humanity and a potential rival if he resists her vision. The duel between Kirsh and Morrow is a warning. The old systems, whether synthetic or cyborg, will destroy each other. The future belongs to something else. And that's what makes Wendy's rise so terrifying. Our nerdy thoughts. The fight between Kirsh and Kumi Morrow wasn't about victory. It was about showing us the futility of both Prodigy and Weyland-Yutani's philosophies. A synthetic and a cyborg, both built to serve, both broken by the very systems that created them. It's messy, it's brutal, and it's unresolved. But that's exactly why it works. Alien Earth isn't about clean victories. It's about survival, power, and the cost of trying to control forces, whether alien, synthetic, or human, that can never truly be controlled.
No, what the heck, I'll laugh anyway.